All right, hey guys and girls. I wanted to make a video. I'm gonna outline the Bullet car. I've been testing like crazy, and we're producing now. So I wanted to kind of go over my car, the pricing, how to get it, the setup, kind of what I've learned over the past couple weeks of some pretty crazy testing. So this is the latest car. This is made, I guess before I go over this, made some notes to keep on track, but there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle to go fast in drag racing. I don't, honestly, not to upsell my chassis, but I don't think the chassis is a huge factor. My main ones are tire traction, motor, ESC, and battery. There's a lot more little things with body and tune and things, but there's a lot of chassis out there and they all work really good. I think this has maybe a couple small advantages or ease of use features, but don't buy the chassis and think you're just going to go crush everybody, because it takes a lot more than just the chassis. The chassis is just a very small part. So the goal with this was to make a chassis that is extremely simple, can convert a stock off-road car into something that's extremely competitive, as simple as possible, and I think we got it. So let's see here. This right now is available for 4.0 car and 5.0 TLR. I'm a huge TLR fan, so we went down this road first. But I do have a B5 car, a B6 car, and a B62. Hey Rich, get ready, man, it's coming. I do have the associated line of cars, and we're making the bolt patterns for those cars. And the cool thing is the gearbox and the suspension and the shocks are all really similar in geometry. So depending on whether you want to run a low-C or associated, the car should function exactly the same. All we're going to do is change the bolt pattern to incorporate whatever car that you want to run. So this currently is a 5.0 car that follows the Elite kit, that follows the 2021 rules, so it's a little heavier. The chassis is built slightly different for more weight. Swiss behind me, super lightweight. That was the first version of it, and since the rules are going heavy, this one has some changes that handle the weight a little bit better, a little bit stronger. So I'll kind of show you about this car, and then when you purchase the chassis, I wanted to give you guys kind of a setup basis so you start out and it works really well. So I wanted to go over, there's nothing in this car besides, there's 8 screws, 3mm by 8mm screws, and some gearbox spacers and body mounts to make this car work out of the box. Everything else is kit stock, no titanium besides what comes in the Elite kit. So cool thing is you buy a kit, you buy this conversion kit, and you're very close to everything you need. I'm not doing anything trick or special. So I'll take the body off and I'll kind of show you what's going on. A few scratches on it because I had some issues with the last testing. It actually blew through the wheelie bar and flew off the ground. But okay, so I'm just going to start with the front. Let me get my notes back out again here. So what you'll first see is there's no kick in the front. The chassis sits flat on the front. I think the kick doesn't hurt you, but it's more of an off-road or a handling thing in turning, and a zero kick car doesn't seem to have any ill effects, and it makes the car much simpler to do body mounts, it just kind of cleans up the front. So no kick on the front, and we're making, one of the pieces that comes in the kit is this front bulkhead. The front bulkhead The hinge pin is offset, so you can have two different hinge pin heights. I run it high to give me the down travel, but if you're in really high traction environment, if you run it low with a really low ride height, there is an adjustment there, but 90% of the time I've tested with it high. And then the other front piece is the shock tower. So just very basic shock tower. The only difference really in geometry is the front end is really leaning the shocks over. I run a very soft front, so as you lean the shocks over, the shock becomes less and less active. So we figured to try to get the body low, and to get the front end to feel good for drag racing where it moves real easy, we lean the shocks way down. Gives you kind of a clean look, low look on the front. So the other thing about the front end is it has adjustments, so you can adjust the length. There's different rules, and in the rules you can either run 13, I've seen 13.5, and I've seen 14 millimeters. So these holes can adjust your overall wheelbase length. So, and it's, you know, the whole thing is 4 bolts, the whole thing slides up and down, so very simple. So depending on where you're racing, you can be at the maximum length, which is an advantage, right? You want to be as long as you can. The other, I think I had a couple different servo options in the front. Right now I just have a standard servo with some, I think it's the 5.0 it's either the 4.0 or the 5.0 mount. It's just a real basic, there's a bunch of different servo mounts, but this one's just a basic one hole in the bottom, 2 holes for your servo bolted on. There is an option. I was running a servo under the rack for a while, really small one, and because of the weight increase, I didn't want to try and save the 30 grams in the servo. So running a standard servo is much easier. I'm trying to keep this simple, and I did break a few of those small servos, so it's not, it works really good with no weight limit, and you can get really light and weight forward, but new rules, I don't think it's necessary, and it's kind of a pain. If you hit something with it, it strips the servo out, and you got to change the servo. So after about the 3rd servo, I decided, it's not worth the weight savings. So standard servo, I'm using the Exotech front body mounts because the front's flat. You can run a flat mount. I've also run like Pro Mod style mounts that come off the chassis, but this is just, again, easy. You can clip it on, but there is holes in the front for eventually here soon an optional bumper, splitter, depending on the body you run, or you can put mounts on the front. So that's pretty much the front end. With the flat, I'm running there's a little bit of trail and a little bit of kick on the ends, just factory from Losi, but I think it's 5 degrees. So front end's basically neutral and flat. So middle of the car. This car is not, I don't think it's for the beginner guy. It's a builder's type conversion kit where I'm taping all my equipment on. You can see I zip tie the battery to make sure it's on there really good, but there's no cool looking mount or top plate, or it's very bare bones. I'm not into, I want it to look cool, obviously, but I want it to function, and this functions. So as simple as possible. I'm just taping everything on, and the battery's got some weight to it, so I zip tie it. But the important part about the middle of it is we've done a few different tests with different thicknesses and flex, and I think we got, for the weight that's the minimum, we got a good flex. So when you see the car, it does flex back and forth. We got rid of the center holes for the weight to make more strength, and we have width. It's wider all the way down than the majority of the cars to try and stop a little bit of the side flex, and not have to have a top plate on it. So the cool thing is when you put the shocks on, the shocks will hit the chassis, but we have it where if you want to run it like that, this is the way mine is right now. The thing's in the teens, and I just have the chassis, the arms hitting the chassis like a downstop. And the height is really close to what you want to run. So you can limit it more, the shock more, but if you if you want to run max travel that it's allowing, it works really well. So we have you're getting some flex this way, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I think you want that, and we've tried different designs on the back and different thicknesses to try to get this flex. In my opinion, others might disagree, but I think some of that promotes traction, and you see other designs of other race cars, and they have this flex point in the back, or this is moving. So I have a little bit of that built into this chassis. So I keep the back of the chassis pretty open for the ability to move, and even the body mounts are very loose on the back. So when the chassis flexes, the body isn't in play with the structure. So that's kind of the middle. It's very bare bones. There's no cool mount or cool top plate, or it's a flat chassis, and I think you'll be surprised how well it works. So back of the car. This is the Elite car, the 4.0 or the 5.0 Elite, and I'm running the stock gearbox, so it's the 3-gear laydown. The only difference in the gearbox is I'm running the metal idler, the aluminum idler for strength, but it's the stock slipper, stock internals out of the box. Just you have to change that idler if you're going to put down a lot of power, because it blows out the idler. Stock shocks. This has the 4.0 shock on it now, but I have like 3 sets of shocks. I've been messing with ride heights and stuff, but stock shocks work great for 5.0 or 4.0. Excuse me. I'm running the same body mount in the back as in the front, the Exotech mount. I have them facing forward to fit the vet body. So that's the back is it's very kit-like. There's nothing real special about it. One thing I'm doing that's hard to see on video, but to run on a flat chassis, I'm spacing the gearbox up. So I'm going to supply the length of the spacers. I just run, hey Jason, I just run, I think it's Hiroseko spacers, like ball stud spacers, to get the chassis flat, or to get the gearbox flat on the chassis. And so the last part, and it's kind of a variable, is the wheelie bar. And we left a tab on the chassis to bolt a mount on, and that's kind of a later thing. I want the option to bolt some mounts on, because I'm messing with a lot of different wheelie bars, and I'm finding that there's a lot of speed to be had with the wheelie bar. So my latest wheelie bar is actually a vanishing point wheelie bar that I've kind of modified to fit the low-C car. But I'm not a big fan of the mount yet. I have a Shapeways mount. I'm worried about breaking it, but I think we're going to make something that is a slash-based bolt pattern that comes off the chassis, so that you can put any wheelie bar you want on it. But I mean, I've run good with just a flat single wheel wheelie bar. I've run good with a standard ladder bar, and currently I have the vanishing point bar on it. I think we're gonna make our own bar here pretty soon, or team up with Troy Vanishing Point to offer his bar with it. But I am running a shock absorb style bar, and the stability is really good. So that's one of the reasons why my body was a little scratched up. Is so the funny story is I went out Sunday. I ran it. It went 222 at 70 miles an hour. I've gone in the 70 mile an hour a few times now with this kind of stock setup. I practiced with prep, and it went 215. And when I added a little more power, because of the setup, it blew through the spring on the wheelie bar and actually flipped over. It flew off the ground 3/4 track or something. So I need to do some adjustments for this weekend's race to put a little bit more power down. But I'm confident with the stock setup and our conversion kit. It'll go in the O's within a couple weeks of testing with this wheelie bar. Hopefully, maybe this weekend. So that's the kind of the gist of the whole thing. Let me just make sure I didn't forget anything. To go over the setup just a little bit. I know some people run really low. I'm running to where my bones are pretty level on the back, so that's the way it's set up. When you get the kit, I would recommend trying to get the ride height to where the thing is in the middle center, because the bones naturally kind of want to center. I believe I'm running 40 weight all the way around with the stock pistons. Car's pretty soft. Maybe I'm erring a little on the soft side. I limit the down travel so that the chassis can't hit the ground. I don't limit a lot of the back. It hits the chassis to stop the down travel, and the up travel I don't limit. I'm running phantom power right now, pushing at 70 miles an hour. I'm about, I'd say 80% of its potential. I think there's power to make well into the 75 mile an hour range or faster with phantom, so huge fan of them. I run max amps batteries and either a RX8 or a R1 speed control. So this is the chassis is a small piece of the puzzle. There's a lot involved in going straight and fast, so this is an easy way to convert standard car into a really competitive drag car. I'm hoping you guys like it. I think we have 15 or 20 of them made for conversion. The kit's going to be simple. It's just going to come with the chassis, the front shock tower, and the front bulkhead, and a small list of pieces. I think it's 8 bolts and 6 spacers, something like that, to put the whole thing together. Choose your wheelie bar, your body, and your tires, and you're off and rolling. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I think there'll be a few going out within a day or two, and then I think we're going to have between 30 and 50 available. I'll post how to buy them. The price is $160 plus shipping and tax, and I want to see the feedback. I'm getting these out to a few real fast guys here, and we'll see what everybody thinks. So hope to hear the feedback. I'm always available for questions, and I'll post how to buy these very soon. And the last thing is, I think we'll have associated versions available within a month. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks.